This Family Life News podcast is made possible by the support of listeners like you.
Next on the 5 o'clock report.
I'm not interested in the snow.
Every direction you look, surrounded by fire.
Disdain for corporate America.
I would not be able to live with myself if I didn't do anything.
Hand it back to the very people we took it from.
I feel really bad that I cannot help my child.
A symbol of joy.
Now, let's go to the newsroom.
Good afternoon and welcome to the broadcast. I'm Family Life News anchor Sarah Harnish. Slippery, sloppy roads for your drive home this afternoon. Flood watches are popping left and right for central New York. There's also more snow on the way for the snow belt and an Arctic temperature drop. New Yorkers are saying, when is spring?
Whatever happens, happens.
I guess it's here now, so gotta get used to it.
It's not going to happen. I'm not interested in the snow.
The Family Life News team keeping an eye on the radar this afternoon as the rain switches out for a sleet mix and up to a foot of snow for the snow belts tonight. Binghamton to the east, still in the red and yellow on the radar. Olean to the west to Erie. That switch to snow already underway. Stay safe on the roads. We've got your forecast coming up in a few minutes. It's going to be the biggest holiday travel period in many years, just before Christmas through New Year's. So said AAA today.
The 2 weekends are probably going to be the busiest times. So December 21st and 22nd, that Saturday, Sunday, and the weekend after will be the busiest because most people want to be at their destinations by Christmas or they'll be coming back after.
Most of us will be driving. Gas is about 30 cents a gallon less than it was last year. A bit of a bomb drop this afternoon. Christopher Wray is out as head of the FBI as soon as President Biden's term ends in January. He told his staff this afternoon he's resigning. Incoming Senate Majority Leader John Thune.
I think whenever there's a transition, the president comes in, wants his people in place, and I think understandably the people who have those roles today, I think, get that.
To the west, the wildfire in Malibu, California has now burned 4,000 acres. 20,000 people have evacuated.
Completely surrounded by fire. Every direction you look, surrounded by fire. I thought I was going to have to drive through a ring of fire just to get out of here.
CBS's Chris Evans.
Firefighters have been making good progress here with the aircraft throughout the night. We've got strong winds and low humidity, and that has been driving this fire. Now, it's been too dangerous for ground crews to continue the fight, so that's why we've seen these water-dropping helicopters around the clock.
Alleged CEO killer Luigi Mangione still sitting in an Altoona, Pennsylvania jail cell this afternoon as police in New York City build the case against him. The 26-year-old Ivy League-educated accused assassin was captured in a McDonald's in Altoona, PA on Monday after nearly a week-long manhunt. The NYPD top commissioner said today the gun found on him matches shell casings found at the crime scene in Manhattan.
They need to build a case to definitively, without any doubt, place him at the scene of the crime and have him, Luigi Mangione, pulling the trigger. So they are working to build that case so that DNA and those fingerprints are crucial.
Former U.S. Marshal Richard Staropoli says Mangione's 3-page manifesto may also provide a motive for the murder.
This is someone who's expressed a tremendous disdain for corporate America, which is kind of interesting when you think about it, because if it wasn't for corporate America, this kid probably never would have been able to go to those schools that he went to. Yet he writes this 3-page manifesto where he expresses a huge disdain for the health insurance industry.
Now to a different murder case. Daniel Penny has broken his silence on the subway chokehold case. He says he had no second thoughts about his actions to protect other riders from a rogue homeless man making threats.
I would not be able to live with myself if I didn't do anything in that situation and someone got hurt. I would feel guilty for the rest of my life.
Penny granted an interview to Fox Nation. 2 homicide charges against Daniel Penny were dismissed in court this past week. Former White House spokesperson Kayleigh McEnany.
I know he doesn't want the limelight, but I hope he gets that congressional gold medal. I hope he gets a presidential medal of freedom. And we need to send a message that good Samaritans everywhere are heroes and should be rewarded, not villainized.
Secretary of State Antony Blinken is in the hot seat today over our botched withdrawal from Afghanistan that left 13 service members dead.
The reason NATO is stronger today is because of the invasion. It's not because of U.S. policy.
Now, that's incorrect. The reason they are stronger today is because of President Biden's leadership.
It's not going so well for him today in Congress. Georgia Congressman and Afghan war vet Rich McCormick.
We deserve better for those 2,462 lives that we lost after 2 decades, after $2 trillion of investment, to hand it back to the very people we took it from.
Blinken fought a subpoena for 3 years to avoid testifying under oath. After that hearing, Blinken will head back to the Middle East to talk to leaders in the region about the effects of the rebel takeover of Syria. He'll travel to Jordan and Turkey to discuss what may lie ahead.
There may be, and I very much hope there is, an opportunity to move Syria away from the disaster of recent decades toward a country that is unified.
He wants to discuss plans to keep ISIS from taking advantage of the situation and also what to do with the thousands of extremist prisoners being held in Syria. And Facebook may have some issues for you today. Users of Meta-operated apps are reporting outages this afternoon. In a statement, Meta said it was aware of the technical issue impacting some users' ability to access their apps, and they're working to get things back to normal as quickly as possible. Reports of problems began to spike just before 1 p.m. Eastern. Still to come on the 5 o'clock report, switch into snow tonight. ADHD drug shortage and Christmas break is looming, so it's time for a one-on-one with a psychologist on how to keep your kids and teens off their cell phone. Those stories coming up after weather with Kevin Williams.
Here is your Family Life regional weather forecast. We're shifting weather gears tonight, going from soggy to snowy. This as a potent front crosses the area, and after a little bit of a lull, we've got lake effect that'll kick in overnight tonight and tomorrow. The lake effect will target the traditional snow belts with many inches of snow, but everybody should be on the lookout for at least some minor accumulations and potentially some slippery travel overnight tonight and tomorrow morning. The general accumulation across our region is a coating to an inch or two, but more than a foot will easily fall in lake effect belts against south of Buffalo and up toward the Tug Hill Plateau up Lake Ontario as well. Temperatures drop into the 20s tonight, hold there tomorrow.
Thank you, Kevin. Checking the stories, making news where you live across New York and Pennsylvania. Our top story today is that weather forecast. Our news team closely watching the radar. Ithaca, Elmira, Syracuse still have rain coming down at this hour, but Hornell, Olean, Batavia, Warren, it has already switched to snow. It's 38 degrees at our studios in Bath, New York, but Friday night's low is 12. So stay safe on those slick roads. Black ice is definitely possible tonight, and if you're in the snow belts.
Some places between Erie and Buffalo, Watertown and Syracuse could see up to 3 more feet of snow, and we've got an elevated flood risk as well.
That's NBC's Al Roker. It's not an IV shortage, but now a drug shortage. Pennsylvania is one of many states dealing with a shortage of drugs used to treat ADHD, attention deficit hyperactivity disorder. Lebanon, Pennsylvania resident Jerome Gilbert tells WPMT it breaks his heart that his 10-year-old son can't get the medication he needs right now.
I feel really bad that I cannot help my child because this medication, there's a shortage of it. Is it a price thing? I just don't understand why the United States would let that happen, and I'm really upset.
This is his son, Jacob.
When I have my medicine, I sit down and watch the movie, but I can't now because I don't have my medicine. I can't concentrate, and I wish they had it back because I really need it. Really badly.
His family says alternatives to Jacob's usual medication, Ritalin, haven't worked in 2 months since their supply ran out. The FDA says manufacturers are still having trouble keeping up with growing demand for ADHD drugs. A new Siena College poll shows just 1/3 of New Yorkers would vote to re-elect Governor Hochul in 2026.
Hochul is underwater with voters, but less so than she had been. Her favorability is up by 10 points. Her job approval rating is up by 7 points.
Hochul still underwater with the voters, mostly because of the high cost of living in the Empire State. She may be unpopular, but she still has a sizable lead, though, over potential Democratic challenger Richie Torres. And the Capitol Christmas tree in Harrisburg is all lit up for the holidays. Pennsylvania Governor Josh Shapiro took part in the ceremony last night to bring that 24-foot tall Douglas fir tree to life.
It is a symbol of joy for all of us as we spend these next few weeks enjoying family and friends, enjoying the holidays that we celebrate.
The tree is decorated with more than 1,000 LED lights and over 700 ornaments, handmade by Pennsylvania pre-K students and senior citizens. And how to get your kid off their cell phone. Our own Martha Meneikis Foster sat down with psychologist Dr. Kathy Cook to break it down. Let's listen in.
They don't have healthy relationships with people that they see face to face. Hard to get them to really engage, and that's because they don't have experiences with that, and they're satisfied by their texting relationships. They're struggling to be resilient and to handle the ups and downs that come with life because technology has taught them everything should be easy, automatic, and fun, and they give in far too frequently. Also, a major concern that we have at the ministry is that they trust Siri and Google, and they don't think they need what I would call real authority. Authority has failed them, and so because authority is failing, they think, well, I might as well be my own authority.
The same technology that has the potential to warp development, like we've been talking about, is also often required to get through the day. So how can adults help children see beyond the screen and flourish physically, mentally, and spiritually?
So we do need to help kids, young people, learn to enjoy offline activities and relationships. We need to stop, yelling at them for not being good at it. We need to stop, complaining. I like to say that complaining does nothing but change a good attitude to bad. It doesn't help our kids. So if you're concerned about the young people you know who are too much into their screen and they're not into the offline activities that you believe are life-giving, then demonstrate that. We need to demonstrate a vibrant relationship with the God of the Bible and a vibrant relationship with the people we love. We need to show our young people that we're sacrificing to spend time with other people because people matter. So we need to, introduce them to good old-fashioned board games that go to a slower pace. They allow for deeper thinking and conversations. They may not ask, hey, Grandpa, could we play checkers? Or, Dad, could we, shoot hoops or play a game together? But we know that it's best for them, so we need to walk toward them and say, hey, do you want to go shoot hoops? They also need to sleep more, and we need to help them do that. They need to learn to advocate for themselves.
That's Dr. Kathy Cook of Celebrate Kids Incorporated, talking about how to get kids off cell phones in a healthy way. You can hear the full Inside Out podcast on the Family Life Now app and at familylife.org. Time next for tonight's market report, brought to you by Faithward Advisors. Wall Street is closing mixed after Wednesday's inflation report met analyst expectations. At the bell, the Dow Jones Industrial Average fell 99 points to 44,148. The S&P 500 gained 49 points to 6084, and the Nasdaq rose 347 points to 2034. Faithward Advisors is a Christian financial planning firm online at faithwardadvisors.com.
Do you have budget phobia? You know you should budget, but just the idea makes you feel cramped and restricted? Hi, I'm Rob West with today's Faith and Finance Minute. You don't have to suffer from budget phobia any longer. There's a cure. Just download the FaithFi app wherever you get your apps. It'll walk you through the easy steps of setting up a budget 3 different ways, including the tried and true envelope system. It'll also track your spending so you can see it in real time, helping you stay on budget. You'll probably spend less automatically. When you're thinking about spending, you'll do less of it. Living on a spending plan doesn't have to be frightening. Your budget is really your friend, helping you stay out of debt and save for the future. So get the FaithFi app and end your budget phobia today. We can help you learn to manage your money according to biblical principles when you download the free FaithFi app. You'll find it on our website at faithfi.com.
Coming up on the 5 o'clock report, no more Mr. Postman knocking at your door. Amazon just changed the game this week. We've got the latest in tech deliveries after weather.
Here is your Family Life regional weather forecast. We're shifting weather gears tonight, going from soggy to snowy. This as a potent front crosses the area. And after a little bit of a lull, we've got lake effect that'll kick in overnight tonight and tomorrow. The lake effect will target the traditional snow belts with many inches of snow. But everybody should be on the lookout for at least some minor accumulations and potentially some slippery travel overnight tonight and tomorrow morning. The general accumulation across our region is a coating to an inch or two, but more than a foot will easily fall in lake effect belts against south of Buffalo and up toward the Tug Hill Plateau off Lake Ontario as well. Temperatures drop into the 20s tonight, hold there tomorrow.
Thank you, Kevin. Finally, at 5, drone delivery. It is here. No more test runs. Amazon just launched the first drone drop in Phoenix, Arizona. It might sound like this outside your door soon. The company plans to roll out delivery to more major cities next year. They use sensors to detect objects on the ground and then drop the packages from about 12 feet. Boxes are packed with a buffer so your item can absorb the shock of hitting the ground. No shipping bicycles or vases.
These aircrafts are meant for relatively small items, things that fit in a shoebox and weigh 5 pounds or less. You pay about $10 extra to choose drone delivery and need to confirm where you want it dropped on a map of your property.
Amazon executive David Carbon is part of their airborne division and worked for Boeing for 20 years before hopping over to Amazon. He says their biggest task is keeping those drones quiet.
The feeling of this drone is a lot quieter, I wouldn't say soothing, but it's like it's muted.
Navigating airspace, the next large hurdle.
We're not going to be the only ones that want to be in the air. You know, you've got your traditional folks that are in the air. We're going to need the regulator to come up with rules that ensure we're not blocking airspace.
Google and Walmart are also rolling out drone delivery programs. And that's the world that we live in for Wednesday, the 11th of December. I'm Sarah Harnish, and this is the 5 o'clock report on Family Life.
Thank you for listening to this Family Life News podcast. If you've been encouraged by what you've heard, please share it with others and click the subscribe button to automatically receive future episodes. Family Life is a listener-supported ministry. Podcasts like this are made possible by your financial partnership. Find out more at familylife.org.